Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm about to show you is one thing I never thought I'd see. Chris Cuomo is blasting the Democrats on their response on the Trump assassination. He's actually backhanding them. This is freaking Chris Cuomo. This guy's the same guy who said, "Please tell me where it says protests are supposed to be peaceful" on CNN. We're an upside down world, people, but I gotta show you because this is something that I think will pique your interest. There are 3 clips I'm about to show you which are gonna make your jaw go agape. This one is gonna be bananas. It'll be linked in the description box below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. YouTube is up to its regular shenanigans, so make sure you have not been unsubscribed. And let's have a party and pass some freedom on to the next generation. But you know what? You know something I don't want to pass on to you guys? I don't want to pass on the red flag manipulations and assaults on your Second Amendment rights. You know what I do want to pass on? The ability for you to defend yourself against you getting attacked by these very things. There's a link in the description box below for USCCA. They cover red flag laws, which we've seen weaponized at a grand rate and only expanding in all the blue states. Don't be unprotected from these things. If someone accuses you of something, you lose your gun rights. You're assumed of being guilty until you prove you're innocent. Have a partner in that. USCCA now covers that in their coverage. There's a link right down there. Just find out about it. If you are like the guy in Massachusetts who gets attacked and then defends himself with a firearm, you get arrested, they've also got your back. This is something, guys, that you need to at least explore so you know what your options are should this happen to you. Check it out. It's in the description box below, and thank you to them for making this content possible. All right, people. It's a cold day in hell when I think that Chris Cuomo is onto something. I've got 3 timestamps that I'm about to show you. This is truly bananas. He is blasting the Democrats for extremely divisive rhetoric, and he's blasting them on their response to an assassination attempt of Donald Trump. He's doing what I'm doing. All right, let's get into it. I've got 3 clips. The first one's at 2:17. If you guys are following along, it'll be linked. Check this out. You don't see this often. That's why we're going to do a video on it.
From progress, from each other. And that is what I see that really bothers me. And the reaction and the lack of reaction to the second attempt on Trump in the last couple of months. Oh, but the guy didn't even shoot. What if it was your father? Or what if it was Kamala Harris or President Biden? God forbid. You think that it would be almost a shoulder shrug and more of talk about the Secret Service and allocation of funds than just how crazy it is that this is what's happening in our country? That reaction of, well, come on, don't make too much of it. He had an AK-47 pointed at him. The reaction is unacceptable. And it's the second time media and political players have gotten away with playing down what should be a cause for panic.
All right, so that's the first part. Did you ever think that you'd hear Chris Cuomo say those words? Calling out the media, calling out Democratic politicians for just doing a shoulder shrug? Because in reality, he's completely correct. This is extremely abnormal. 2 assassination attempts in 60 days against the Republican nominee. It's interesting how it's one-sided. But again, that's what he's getting at. The reaction is not normal. It's almost like the demand for politics and the demand to get rid of Trump at any and all cost supersedes norms, which is what we've seen for 4, 8, and 10 years now. We must get rid of the specter of Trump, and no matter what is required to do that, as long as that is achieved, the ends justify the means. That's the entire point. That's what he's hitting at here. But he's got a good point. What if it was your father watching that? What if it was your child? What if it was your political candidate of preference? What if it was Harris, Biden? God forbid, indeed. But the shoulder shrug and just the, well, Trump's a jerk face, so, we can't let him win. See what happens. Because political coverage on the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate would be something that would be viewed as helping that presidential candidate. So you can't do that. So now you got to turn it against him with an earlier video we covered about his rhetoric, all in unison from 3, 4 different sources. Guys, he's over the target. This is what I've been saying. Let's keep going. I got another stop for you. This one's at 4:45. Again, it's linked if you want to watch the entire thing, because it's a pretty good segment, to be completely honest with you. Let's keep going, though.
And this gets clouded by the fact that division gets you paid. Division gets you clicks. Division gets you a following. Division, especially in digital media, is absolutely the way to get known. So the blame for the dynamic is everywhere. On the right, far right, for sure, for sure. But just as troubling to me, and no, it is not false equivalency. My brothers and sisters, I got nobody to impress.
Stole my line.
Okay? I'm not joining any team. I'm not looking for a following. I'm not looking for fans. I tell people to take a hike on a regular basis. I'm just telling you how I see it as somebody who has been studying us for a quarter century in this gig. It is just as troubling to me to hear about fake stories of eating cats and dogs as it is to hear fake concern by our sitting president and almost nothing from the Democrat who wants to lead us about what happened with Trump. We don't condone violence. Who says that? What does that even mean? You don't dismiss trivial pursuits of violence? Okay, who would? We need a lot more than that right now. We need reason to believe in who we are at our best, and we are starved of that.
He is completely right on the, especially that last part. We are starved. We do not have reasons to believe in hope. We have reasons to hate. That is a well-known thing. Now, what he also said was division and hatred gets clicks. That is absolutely correct. I'm not sure if you guys know, but the network that he used to be on, and I'm not giving him a free pass, by the way, because during the riots in 2020, he said, please tell me where it says protests are supposed to be peaceful. It was very well covered. So he's got a role to play in this too. Now, that was 4 years ago. So maybe he's seen the light now that he's out of the thumb of CNN. Whatever, that's not the point of this video. However, hatred and division does get clicks. CNN, MSNBC, their numbers were never better when Trump was running for office and president. When he wasn't president, their numbers fell off a cliff. Just saying. He does have a point. All right, now I'm going to go to the last one. This part is at 6:46. Listen to this one, and then we'll wrap this entire thing. But again, it's a cold day in hell when Chris Cuomo is in the room making the most sense. All right, check this out.
So, after waiting for a real message, looking around the media, being disappointed again, that everybody just wants to kind of parse out, who's to blame? Who's to blame? I mean, don't you think that you should, and don't you think that you should, and nobody's doing this. But this is the only thing that's going to change it. Okay? And look, I hear what Trump is saying. Trump blames the Democrats and their attacks on him as a threat to democracy for the violence directed toward him. He then says that they are the real threats to democracy. So if it's wrong that they're threatening him that way by calling him that, why would he call them that? We need better. And I keep seeing use of the word hate everywhere in our politics. Trump hates Taylor Swift. Democrats hate him, want him eliminated.
Right there. Okay, so I'm gonna tie all this stuff together because, again, it's a cold day downstairs. I want to reiterate, Chris Cuomo is not blameless in what he's saying is the problem. Just want to reiterate that really clearly. He is correct that there is hatred and division that is fueling an economy. However, there's one part that I want to correct with what he just said, or at least add in my own perspective, and you guys can let me know what you think in the comments field. He comes down and says, well, if it's bad for Democrats to do it, why is Trump turning around and doing it? That is a true statement, except for one little tiny part. You have to call out people when they are the cause of it. Just because they did it doesn't mean saying they did it is bad. For 10 years, the Democrats have lambasted Trump, anybody who would support Trump, anything about Trump. They've used lawfare. They've tried to arrest him multiple times. They've tried to break him financially. They've tried to break him morally. They can break him emotionally and mentally, and they can't seem to do it. And now you've got physical attacks on him, 2 of them. It's not a far leap after undergoing all of that for 4 years to say, that rhetoric right there, which I've just released to you in timestamp form over the last 4 years, is the cause of the intensity, and the rhetoric needs to be toned down. That is not a bad thing to do. If you want to start with calling out where it begins, you have to call it where it begins. I understand his point of their response was lackluster, and Biden and Harris came off as mealy mouth, stupid, whatever, because they don't want to piss off their base in 59 or 49 days from an election. But you have to understand, all of this stuff that he's talking about originated with a very specific subset of I hate Trump and never Trump. I'm calling it like I see it. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.